This is episode 1 of Behind the Rack. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brian Lathrop. I'm an Air Force veteran with 21 years service. That's 21 years of travel and adventure. Along the way, I've had the opportunity to meet and serve with many amazing people. And that's where I got the idea for the podcast. Behind the Rack is my attempt to reconnect with veterans and reflect on their service. I believe that every veteran is on a journey, and through listening to their stories of life before, during, and after service, we can find the purpose, camaraderie, and pride we felt when serving. My very first guest on Behind the Rack is good friend and fellow Air Force veteran, Dennis Wade. We've always had great conversations, so I was honored when he agreed to be my first guest. Please welcome to the show, Air Force veteran, Dennis Wade. All right, I think we're rolling. So, Dennis, welcome to Behind the Rack. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
How's it going, Brian?
It's going good. It's been a long time in the making.
Yeah, man. Dude, we've been talking about this for a while, so let's rock and roll.
All right. Very first episode. So thanks again for being my first guest.
I like it. I like it.
I wanted to start out by just asking, where were you born and what did your parents do for a living?
Yeah, man. So I was I was born at the Naval Academy, so in Annapolis, Maryland. I think actually you and I went on a trip there,
Yes,
and
we did.
yeah, checked out the hospital. So that was kind of cool. But I only lived there for a few months. My father was a Navy Seabee, so he was stationed there at the Naval Academy. We moved to San Diego. Sorry, no, I take that back. Ventura County, Oxnard, California. And I lived there for about 10 years or so. Moved down to San Diego for a couple years. Then I moved back up to Oxnard, where I kind of grew up most of my life, I'd say. My dad was Navy Seabee, spent 23 years in the Navy, I want to say it was.
Wow.
Gone a ton. My mother, she was a child care worker, so the child care up on base. She did that for about 20 plus years as well too. So
Okay.
yeah, came from both parents worked pretty much my whole life. That's all I can remember. Dad was gone a lot. I mean, he was gone. I felt like it always seemed like it was my birthday. Like he missed probably, I'd say, at least 5 of my birthdays, maybe more.
Yeah.
He was gone all the time. So my mom was kind of the one all the time up until he retired from active duty. But yeah, it was hard, but it was good. Yeah.
So he was stationed at Oxnard?
Yeah. So there's a naval base there called Port Hueneme, right by literally just north of like the Malibu, Santa Monica area.
Okay.
About 45 minutes north of LA, so not too bad.
Right.
Just a huge naval CB base there. So I lived on that base for many years of my life, and then once he retired, we decided to stay there and graduated high school there. So yeah.
Cool, man. I didn't realize you were a military brat.
Yeah,
So,
that's all I knew, honestly, growing
Right.
up. So all of my friends growing up, even my friends out of high school or in high school, they majority of them, their parents were military as well too. Kind of that community. So it was really good. It was good growing up, being a part of the military.
so when did you first start thinking about serving yourself?
Honestly, I don't I don't even remember like going through high school. I didn't even the military never even really it never really crossed my mind. I thought I was gonna. I played baseball throughout high school.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, a little bit. I played a little bit of baseball. Growing up, I played baseball forever, and I got to high school and just kind of lost interest. But I always thought that I was gonna play baseball in college, and I thought I was gonna go to
Really?
college, right?
Right?
But I think when I got to high school and all the distractions started happening,
Yeah.
I put baseball on the back burner. But yeah, I never really thought that I was going to be in the military. I thought I was just going to go off to college. And honestly, I didn't even think about it. I literally, when I was in high school, it was every day was just living in that day, I guess you can say. I
Right.
never really thought about like my future, going to college or going in the military or what I was going to do after, right? All I wanted to do was just hang out with my friends.
Right.
So yeah, it was never like one of those things where I was like, okay, I'm gonna join the military. Like this is what I want to do. I want to join the military. I guess I was always somewhat infatuated with the military in a way. I always liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up on the Navy bases that I lived at, one I was lucky to live in Miramar as well too, where they used to have Top Gun back in the day.
Oh man,
Right?
I can
Yeah.
imagine.
So I'm talking like really cool Top Gun. Even on the movie, you can see my dad's old work. It's really cool. Yeah. Yep. So I always had like a thing for aviation as well too. I guess.
Yes, I
Really
know that
liked.
about
Yeah.
you.
Yep. Really liked airplanes. But I never thought that I was gonna pursue it like in a career or anything like that. So yeah, I just never had an idea that I was gonna join the military.
Really?
Yeah.
So when did it first start coming up for you?
So I saw that like back then. So this is like I grew up in the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of my school was throughout the 90s, and back then, my dad, like I said, was retired military. He worked on base after. My mom worked at the childcare, so not a lot of income, right? And there's three of us, so I saw that I have an older sister. My parents, paid for her college, right? So
Right.
I didn't. When I was getting a little bit older in high school, I was like, man, I don't really want to put the burden on my parents, right? And once I did go to my senior year, I kind of kicked it in gear and was like, okay, what am I really gonna do, right? And at that time, I was like, okay, I do want to go to college, um, but I was just trying to figure out ways. I didn't have the grades. I was terrible in school. I actually only went to a real, I guess you could say, a real high school my freshman year. Yeah,
Oh, you
yes.
finished out.
Yeah, so kind of a quick background with that, I guess you can
Dang.
say. So I went to a normal high school my freshman year, and in the second semester, got into some trouble, ended up getting kicked out of high school, and I was still too young to go to the continuation high school. They call it in California. So I ended up having to do what they call independent study, so homeschool. So kind of
Okay.
like what the kids are doing nowadays.
Yeah.
I call myself the original homeschooler, right? So did that for my sophomore year and half of my junior year until I was old enough to go to the continuation
Really?
high school.
Wow.
Yep. So it was essentially like adult ed type
Right.
situation. So I ended up going there and I finally kicked it into gear and actually graduated early. And that's when I started tossing up the idea because not that I was, I don't know, I think I was just more of like a knucklehead in school, you know? I always had like the smarts. I was just lazy, honestly, like pure,
Yeah.
like just, I had other intentions, right? Instead of focusing on school and grades and future. But so actually thinking about the military, so it's a funny story, right? So one of my best friend, him and I worked together up at the Navy Lodge up on base. So essentially, billeting, right? What we call in the Air
Right,
Force.
right.
He'd work the night shift and I'd work day shift. So
What'd you do?
so I was the, oh man, how do I say it? I was the jack of all trades, master of none guy.
Okay.
I from unclogging toilets to bugs to
No way. I
cutting
never knew
grass.
that, man.
You name it. That was my journey. That did not last very long at all. So no kidding. My buddy's name is Arwen. My best friend, we still talk to this day.
Really?
Him and I have just been through so much. So his girlfriend at the time had just broken up with him. My girlfriend at the time broke up with me. So we were kind of just both being lame and like, dude, this sucks, right? So we're sitting there, and mind it, like he worked a night shift, right? So he would have to go to work at 10 o'clock at night till I think 7 in the morning or so. And then I would go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, me being the terrible person at the time and had zero responsibility, I kind of would just go hang out with him. And sometimes not even go to work. But anyway, so this is like the true story. So we're sitting there, and there would be a cop, a military police officer, that would always come in to get coffee, right?
Right.
And one night he came in to get coffee. He was on the night shift, and he, no kidding, came in, started talking to us, and kind of told us his story about the military and how it like changed his life. And so we're sitting there. He leaves, and I look at Arwen. I'm like, bro, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
No way.
And we just kind of looked at each other, and we had another friend by the name of Jesse. He didn't work with us at the Navy Lodge, but anyways, we get off work. So Arwen gets off work. I was supposed to go to work that morning. I didn't. I called in sick.
You
right?
had this new idea.
Yes, I had this new
No
idea,
way.
right? So I was like, So as soon as Arwen got off work, we called our other buddy. His name's Jesse. Hey man, let's go talk to the recruiter. And no kidding, we went down that morning. We were actually supposed to join the Navy. We were, no kidding, going to
Yeah,
join the
definitely
Navy.
Navy.
Yep, we were going to
Navy
join the Navy
brats.
just because Arwen's father, Jesse's dad, my dad, they were
Yeah.
all in the Navy, right? So we
Yeah.
were like, let's do it. So we get there, and my buddy Arwen decides to tell everybody that he didn't know how to swim. So first of all, like we were just laughing, we had no idea, right? So we end up he was really embarrassed about it, right?
Yeah,
So he was like, hey, I don't know if we can talk to the Navy recruiter. So I was like, And this is before like you could Google anything, there's
Wow.
no
Yeah,
cell
yeah,
phones or,
man.
there's
Yeah.
like, there's nothing, right? So no kidding. The Air Force is there. Like she shows up, our recruiter, Tech Sergeant Fulton. I'll never forget her. She shows up kind of late, not even in uniform, just in civilian clothes. And she's got like a huge, like a big thing of coffee and donuts. And I'm like, I kind of look at Jesse and Arwen. I'm like, are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? Like, I can't remember. I remember I remember my dad always saying, like the Air Force always had it good, and they always took care of their folks. So we just kind of like, the light bulb came on, and we walked into her office, and no kidding, man, she honestly, I want to say we were, one of the best, like easiest, like recruits for her, because it was literally we were like, let's do it, like sign us up now before we back out, we regret this.
Was it the buddy system?
It was, yeah, yep. So we all, no kidding. So I think that was like on a Monday or so, early in the week. And by Wednesday, we went to go take our ASVAB. So the three of us, right?
Wow.
So we all took our ASVAB, we all passed. And we wanted to let her know that we wanted to do the buddy system, so the three of us can go. So we all went down to MEPS together the first time, when you do the physical, and we all passed all that, flying colors, all that good stuff, and got our jobs. But the only thing was Jesse, he had to leave a week before we did. So that was kind of a bummer. But he left a week before we did, and I think I want to say it was maybe from the time we walked into the recruiting office, from the time we left for basic training was probably 6 weeks maybe.
So
Quick.
you weren't kidding,
No,
man.
I
You-
was
you
like,
didn't
yes.
really-
I told Arwen, I was like, let's not back out on this. Like,
Yeah.
let's do it. And we even told Sergeant Fulton at the time, we're like, you better take advantage of this.
Wow.
Because I mean, literally, like like I said, his girlfriend dumped him. My girlfriend dumped me, right? So I was like,
What
I
did the
gotta
lodging
continue.
office do when both of you left?
Man, dang, what is her name? I cannot remember. So the sad part was my dad worked there after,
Oh.
right? So it just did not look good, man. Not look good at all. But like I look at it now, and it's funny because I tell people that story all the time of like, man, just this dude. And you know what the crazy part is? Gosh, it's been. So I joined the military in September. So 9/9 of '99. So
Oh,
yeah,
man.
is when I joined the
That's
military,
nice.
right? And I still remember to this day. So gosh, like 21 years ago
Yeah.
now, almost 21
Yeah.
years. The guy that we talked to, his name was Steve Logue. No kidding. Yep, I
Okay.
still remember it to this day. Like I don't know if this dude has like any like knowledge of what his impact was
Yeah.
with me and with Arwen. It's
Which guy?
crazy.
The military
The
police?
military police guy.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
yeah, yep. And the crazy thing was, so he was trying to convince Arwen and myself to be police officers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And you know, in the Air Force, you don't want to be security police, right?
Yeah.
So at first, like I told Sergeant Fulton, my recruiter, like, hey, you know, I want to be a police officer. She kind of gave me this look like, no, no, bro, like, do not, do not do security forces, right? She's like, don't go open general, and don't go security forces. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever, right? So my biggest thing was I wanted to like go with Arwen, right? Like that was
Right.
why, like I wanted to go with Jesse, like the three of us, but we already knew he had a good job that he couldn't turn down, right?
Okay.
So I ended up going open mechanical, I think it was, and just so that Arwen and I can go at the same time, right? Come to find out, like the normal, the Air Force sticks you where you want to go, and they gave me a job that was not what I expected, but it was all good though. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. So that's kind
So,
of a quick nutshell of like how I decided that I was gonna be in the military. Just
wow.
not the normal story, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you get your job when you were in basic already?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
halfway
So
through?
my first actual job in the Air Force was aircraft armament systems, something. Craftsman or something. I can't remember. Right. So I was like, man, what is that? Like, no idea. Right. Come to find out, like the job descriptions, they talk about electrical systems, computer aids, and all these things, right?
Right,
And I'm like,
right.
oh, dude, this is
Yeah, they
this would
make
be
it
cool.
sound
Yeah, they make it
nice.
sound
Yeah.
super cool. And I was like, dude, let's do this, right? Like, first of all, I get to leave with my best friend, and I get this cool job, this and that, right? I get to work on airplanes, which is cool, come to
Right.
find out, like full circle, I end up working on aircraft,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which I always liked, right? So I look at it now and I'm like, wow, man, they really do put you where they need you, right? I mean, I didn't score like amazing on the ASVAB, but I did pretty decent. But I get to tech school, which was at Shepherd Air Force Base in northern Texas, where there was literally nothing out there. I get there and come to find out that I was the dude that put ordnance on aircraft. So, I mean, like I look at it now, and man, it was such a blessing to have that job because one, the people, I love the
Right.
people that I worked with. The community is just insane. Like it's such a good community, a maintenance community.
So is it maintenance or is that ammo? Were you
So it's
ammo?
maintenance. No, yeah.
Okay.
So there's two, and bro, you want to make a weapons troop, man?
Oh, so okay, so you're weapons.
I was weapons. Yes,
Gotcha.
yes,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. It's funny you say that. So one of a guy asked me back home a couple weeks ago. He's like, "So you're ammo?" I was like, "No, bro. Definitely not ammo. My tech school was longer."
Nice,
But no, man, it was at first because they always tell you like, "Hey, get a job that will help you." On the outside, right? So, and still to this day, I tell people that younger dudes, guys or girls that are interested in the military, they ask me like, oh, what should I do? And I'm like, make sure you get a job that's going to help you transition into the civilian sector if you decide to get out, right? It's so important, super important, right? Don't go the route that I went. I mean, I was fortunate, obviously, but like the moment that you go open, they're literally going to stick you where they need you. You're just a number to them. So it was it all worked out good for me. Shepherd, I can't remember. Have you been to Shepherd?
So I haven't. No, not Shepherd.
Man, let me tell
How
you.
was it? Were you there in the winter?
No, it was. Yeah, actually, I was there. I got there in. I want to say it was October of '99, towards the end of October of '99. And then I graduated tech school in February of 2000. So I got to do the Christmas Exodus, went home. Tech school kind of really, I met some really, 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 really good dudes out there at tech school that I actually still talk to this day. After graduating basic, because Arwen ended up going to Keesler, and then I went to Shepherd. it was like I was like, oh, dude, this kind of sucks, right? But I met some really good people out there that I had a great time with. Shepherd itself is just terrible. Like, there's nothing there, man. It's um, just not a fun place to go to. And
Yeah.
it just, I think like the tech school environment, not that I had a hard time with rules, but when you overemphasize something, I felt like as an adult, like it was hard, right? That was probably
Right,
my
right.
hardest thing, being there. But I just honestly I made the best of it. Yep, made the best of it. Met some great people there, and then yeah, left there and I graduated from tech school in 2002, I think it was. Or sorry, 2000, February 2000.
So having the hard time with rules, what about boot camp?
So boot camp, man, I was
Did,
that dude that literally. What was my? I think my special job was like a shoe aligner, right?
did you lay low?
I laid low, bro.
I laid low.
Yes,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
I laid low. Like I wasn't in the best shape. Not that I am now,
Shoe,
but
a shoe liner.
yes. I like. I was a shoe aligner. I remember one of my friends actually he had joined the Air Force before I did. He was a year older than me, and he was like, "Dude, just lay low." He's like, "You're
Yeah,
not trying
yeah.
to." I wasn't trying to win like honor grad or
Right,
anything like. I
right.
literally just wanted to graduate. Right, that's all I cared about was graduating. But yeah, having my best friend there was just amazing. Right, like the dude, like he slept maybe 3 beds down from me. Right,
Oh,
so
that had to be good.
yeah, man,
Yeah.
having him there was like just definitely a peace of mind. Like I said back then, in the late '90s, there was no cell phones, right? So we literally had the phone call. You put in the quarter or you make the collect call
Hey
or
man,
whatever.
what,
Yeah,
did that choke you up on that first
dude,
phone
you
call?
have no idea, bro. I told my mom and dad, I was like, I'm so sorry. Mom and dad, I'm so sorry
Yeah.
for everything I did. I said, please write me a letter every day. It's crazy because honestly, man, I think about it like, because man, I put like my parents, not to get like too in depth, but like, man, I put my parents through so much, right? And when I was in
Mm-hmm.
high school, and like, man, that one moment of like humility, man. When I called them, I was like, "I'm so sorry, mom and dad. Like, please forgive me for being a dummy." Like, but I was lucky enough because I remember to this day, like, man, there were guys there that like their mom and dad they didn't answer their phones, and
Oh
like I said,
man,
like if it's not like nowadays where everybody has a cell phone, right?
I hear they get their cell phones.
Yes, yeah, that's what I heard. I know
Yeah.
it's crazy, right? So, yeah, luckily I was fortunate enough to um, have them be there. They answered it, and from there it was like game on. They spammed everybody with my address, so and I was
That's
getting
cool,
stuff.
man.
Yeah,
That's
getting
cool.
letters. Yeah, it was cool, man. Basic was it was it wasn't too hot in San Antonio at the time, so which was
Mm-hmm.
really nice. Leaving in September, that was the second time I ever fired a weapon in my
Oh,
life.
okay.
The first time I was probably like 10 years old or so. So, going out there shooting at the time, we were still shooting M16s.
Yeah.
So I shot that. I actually got marksman, which was
Did you?
crazy. I'm pretty sure the
Okay.
dude next to me was shooting mine.
Nice, nice.
But I got a marksman ribbon out of it. And yeah, man, it was good. I think graduating basic training is one of those things that you'll never ever forget. I think
Yeah.
it's like something that is just like a life memory that you'll never forget, right? And for me, I think the biggest thing was just seeing my parents because my mom and dad, they came out for my graduation.
Mhm.
So did Arwen's parents, so it was really cool seeing them. Yeah, basic was man. I was that dude that just really, really laid low, man.
That's good.
I wasn't the most in shape dude, so yeah, man. I had my battles. I think the hardest thing for me was just being away, man. Just like
Right.
I was 18 years old and never really been away from my family. So yeah, man, it was good. Dude, I think at the time. I don't know what it is now, but when I went through, it was like maybe 6.5 weeks, so nothing
Yeah.
crazy, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, that's cool. So the basic going through with Arwen, and
Yeah.
then so your tech school from Shepherd. Where's your first duty station?
So my another one of those lovely Air Force, we're gonna put you where we need you, right? So, going through your tech school, you have the thing called your dream sheet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's not a dream sheet,
Where did
man.
you hope to go?
So I was still homesick, man. Like by
Oh,
that
okay.
time in tech school, I wanted to go to. So I when I went through tech school, for the weapons career field,
Mm-hmm.
when you're in basic, you don't know what aircraft you're gonna put down, right? So, or sorry, that you're gonna get. When you find out your job, then you get to select like your
Oh,
aircraft.
that's right.
Yes,
Based on what
yeah, yep.
aircraft
What
is where
aircraft?
you could
Exactly.
be
Yep.
stationed.
So for me, I had no idea, right? Like I said, I liked airplanes, but I didn't know what really what airplanes or what this and that. So I just kind of put whatever down on my sheet of basic training, right?
Right.
So when I get to tech school, I find out that I was chosen to work on F-15s. So with F-15s, there wasn't really a lot of close bases to the West Coast. I put down Nellis. Go figure, right? We're
Yeah.
here right now. I put down Nellis. Where else did I put down Mountain Home? I put down Edwards, which wasn't too far away from where
Right.
where I live. It was going to be a hard one to get, right? So pretty much all like West Coast bases. I didn't put anything overseas because I was like, no way, right? So by this time, like Arwen and Jesse had both graduated. Both of those guys get like stationed close to home. I think
Really.
Jesse got like, where did he go? Not Vandenberg.
Okay.
Yep. So not too far away from Oxnard, and Arwen got DM, so in Tucson, so it's still an easy drive, right? So I'm like, man, my luck is in my court, right? Man, I want to get like Nellis or somewhere close. Man, I remember still to this day walking downstairs and the assignments were out, and mine said RAF Lakenheath. I was like, first of all, where's that at?
Wow.
Like I have no idea where that is, right? And again, there's no Google, right? So my tech school instructor says, "Oh, you're going to the UK." I was like, no kidding, my heart was like crushed, man. I was like, no, dude, I do not want to go overseas. Like that's just like more time away from my family, right? And in tech school, you have like the opportunity to like change assignments with somebody, right?
Yes,
You remember an active
swap.
duty?
Mhm.
Yeah, yep. So I started looking into that, right, with another dude in my
Yeah.
class, because I was like, well, if I'm going overseas and maybe I want to go somewhere I want to go, like Japan, right?
Okay.
But he wanted to go to Europe, so we tried swapping. It didn't happen. I ended up going to Lakenheath. So
Okay.
yep. So I got to Lakenheath in February of 2000. Yeah,
Wow. Lakenheath. So I haven't been over to Lakenheath.
it was amazing.
Really?
Yeah, yep. So I got there. I was 19 years old. I just turned 19 in tech school. Get there, and no kidding, the first thing that I ever bought. So I tell you, I've been pretty lucky with having friends and family or just acquaintances that have been in the Air Force, right? But one of the guys that I grew up with was actually stationed out there as well too. So and we lived on the same street.
No way,
Yeah,
man.
yep.
That's
So
good.
it was good, man. His name's Tim. Still keep in contact with him every so often
That's
too.
good.
But so he found out that I was going to Lakenheath, and I get there, and you get a sponsor and all that good stuff. But
Right.
I got in contact with him, and he picked me up from the airport. And as a 19-year-old, the first thing I bought in England was a case of Bud Light, just because. Just because, right? Because you can, right?
Right.
So,
And it had to be Bud Light.
It had to be Bud Light, man.
Oh man.
So yeah, I can honestly say the first purchase of my life in the UK was a case of Bud Light at the shop at there. So yeah, my squadron there, I was in the 494th there. Amazing, man. I think about it now, like how much like of an actual blessing it was to get stationed at Lakenheath, because
Right.
so many good things came out of it. I It's so funny, man. I look at it now, honestly, because at the time when I graduated tech school, like I said, I had no desire to go overseas, right? I just wanted to go home, be closer to my family. I could see them on
Yeah.
the weekend, right? And I'll tell you what, I cannot even imagine like what my life would be like if I never went to England. So
Right.
yeah, it's cool, man. Yep. So from there, I spent 2 years over there, and I ended up getting an assignment to. So when you leave overseas, you get what they call an equal listing.
Mm-hmm.
So the Air Force drops what they call an equal listing. I still think they have that with assignments of your career field for overseas returnees, right? So my equal listing came out, and there was assignments to Barksdale. There was assignments to Luke. I think it was like 14 or 15 that were open. I was like, oh, dude, I'm going to Luke, right? Like this is
Okay, now
guaranteed.
Arizona?
Down in Arizona, yeah,
Okay.
yep, near Phoenix, right? I had some really good friends there that I was stationed with at Lake and Heath, and I was like, I guarantee you, I'm going to Luke. 16,
Yeah.
or I think of 14 or 16 positions, right? So it's kind of the same thing. You fill out a dream sheet, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the equal listing that comes out, where do you want to go? So there was, I'm trying to think what else was there. Mountain Home was there, which is in Idaho, and Hill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hill Air Force Base, which is in northern Utah. So I was like, okay, like I've had a great time. This is my 2 years at Lake and Heath. My time's coming up, and then I put my list down. I put Luke as my number one, Nell is number two, Mountain Home number three, and Hill Air Force Base is number four.
Okay.
And turn it in, and then within like 2 weeks, I get a call from the orderly room, and hey, your assignment's here. And sure enough, I got Hill Air Force Base, which is in northern Utah, and I was like, oh, great, again, right? Like,
Yeah.
I honestly had no idea because I didn't know anybody there again, and I was like, oh, man, it's going to be one of those things again, right? So I got stationed at Hill in February or March of 2002. And honestly, the rest was history from there. I loved it. I worked F-16s there. I was in the 4th Fighter Squadron there. Actually separated from active duty there in 2008. So I went on a deployment there. Actually went on a deployment when I was at Lake Heath as well too. So actually went on 2 deployments at Hill. So yeah.
Wow. So back at Lake and Heath,
Mm-hmm.
how was it being 19 over in the UK?
Oh man.
Were you driving? Did
Yes.
you get a car?
I did. So I actually had like 3 cars there, and it's so funny, like being overseas, man, especially when you're young. This is early 2000s.
Did you get a clunker?
Totally,
car?
100%. Dude, one of my cars, no kidding, had a legit choke on it, man. It was a Volvo, man. We used to call it the
Nice.
Blueberry. It was like this really old, like 2-door Volvo that maybe had like 40 horsepower.
Nice.
It was terrible, man. It's right side drive there, right?
Yeah.
So, and all 3 cars that I had there. They were all stick shift too, right? So you actually switch.
With your left
with
hand.
your left hand, right? So,
Dang. And the clutches?
the clutch is normal. Yeah, clutch and
it's
gas is
normal?
normal. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yep. So that's normal. You drive on the opposite side of the road there, and their biggest thing, I would say, driving wise, they don't have 4-way stops there. They have
It's
the
all the
roundabouts.
roundabouts,
Yes,
okay.
yeah. So no kidding. I don't know what it was, man, but I just could not understand it. Right?
That would trip me up, being the right,
Yes, you're
driving on the right
wrong
side of the road.
Yes, yeah,
the-
yep. You're on
The left side of the
yes, you're on the
road.
left side of the road.
right-hand drive.
Yes, yeah, yep.
And then going around opposite way?
Opposite way. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing
Oh,
ever, man.
yeah.
Yeah, it was
That-
so like I feel like, and still to this day, like, so where I live at now, like they're really utilizing the roundabout,
Okay.
right? So and I see people like to this day, they're so like flustered when they go to
Yeah.
a roundabout, right? So I always tell my wife, I'm like, I get it, like I get it 100%, like I understand, I've been there, but it's crazy because all you do is yield to the left, like
Mhm.
literally, or opposite side when you're in the UK, right? So yeah, man, it was cool. But yeah, man, spending 2 years over there, I feel like the people that I worked with, I lived in the barracks my whole 2 years
Yeah.
there. So in weapons, you work in a crew of 3. You have a 1-man, a 2-man, and a 3-man. And you work with that crew. It's the same crew from the time
Really?
that you get there till if somebody PCSs or if somebody takes another job somewhere. But for the most part, daily duties, you work with them, right? And I could not have like lucked out. Like I had such an amazing supervisor, an amazing 2-man, and I was a 3-man. I feel like it was just it like all like the stars aligned for me there, right? Like with the crew that I had, from the squadron that I went to, from the experience that I got, like I would just like think about it, man. Like, dang, dude, I'm 19, 20 years old, and dude, this is just amazing, right? I mean, there's times like I would still, get homesick or whatnot,
Right,
right? But then
right.
everybody else did, right? So like literally, you had like um, the people there to help pick you up, and like I worked swing shift pretty much like my whole career there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so which was you worked hard on swings. The jets normally fly during the day and then come back broken and you fix them, right? So yeah, man, it was great, man. I think about it now, and I tell like I tell my kids now, like going there at that age was the greatest thing for me, because it like made me grow up, right? Like
Yeah,
you learn responsibility. So yeah,
that's cool. It sounds like you were part of a good team, and
100%.
I know the camaraderie overseas
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
is so good.
Yeah, 100%, man. And my friends there, their family, I still to this day talk to a lot of them that I was stationed with over there.
Man, that's good.
Yeah, yep. So, I couldn't have. Luckily for me, I had a couple people that I went to tech school with get stationed over there as well too, and we just man, we made the best of it over there. Like it's a weird. When I went to Hill, it was good and it was great. Don't get me wrong, but I felt like being overseas, like, just brought you like that much closer.
Yeah.
Especially being at that age, right? I wasn't married.
Right.
It was more of like just like the people that I hung out with, like no kidding, were my friends, but also my family, right? Because
Right.
man, I missed everything over there. I think I went home one time in the 2 years that I was one time, maybe, yeah. I think one time
Okay.
while I was there for 2 years, right?
Yeah, that's a big flight
Yeah. Yep.
to be coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So you just I feel like you really, one, it makes you grow up, and
Right.
two, it just opens your eyes to like, because man, like I never, this kid from like Southern California got to go to England and spend 2 years of his life over there, and it was great, man. I loved it, absolutely loved it, man.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you did 6 years at Hill
Yes.
in Utah.
Yeah. Yep. So I did 6 years.
And all as weapons.
All his weapons. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep. So, Hill was a great assignment. Phenomenal. It was a different atmosphere there, I guess you can say.
Right.
Especially going from like the F-15 community to the F-16 community. Ops tempo, like just crazy.
Is that common to switch platforms?
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
and
In our
weapons?
career field, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you especially on the fighter side, you kind of get the gist of how things work, right?
Okay.
You just have to learn like the different nuances of each aircraft.
So you
right?
stayed within the fighter
I
community.
did, yeah, yep, yeah, yep. But you can go to the bomber community as well too. You can go spec ops, like you can go pretty much anywhere,
Okay.
right? So,
All right.
yeah, man, I was pretty lucky to go from one fighter to another fighter, and yeah, it was great, man. Hill was, like I said, it was good. We worked a lot at Hill, a lot, long hours, a lot of weekends. I just it got hard, right?
Yeah, that's what
Yep.
I heard a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
So I was a nonner.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what nonner?
Oh yeah, we call you guys nonners.
Yeah. So being weapons crew, you're working on the flight line,
Yes.
and then so basically, what everyone else in the Air Force that's not on the flight line,
Yes.
is known as the nonners.
The nonners, right? 100%, right? Because let me tell you, like, working on the flight line can get brutal. I mean,
Yeah.
So for instance, we're down here at Nellis, right? And it's 112 degrees outside, right?
Nope.
Just because it's 112 degrees outside doesn't mean you cannot
wow.
work, right? So,
Yeah.
and same thing up at Hill. Man, the flight line is like right next to a canyon. So the winds that come through there, I remember one time, like it was with the wind chill factor, it was like negative 26 outside, right? It don't mean anything. You're still working, right?
Right.
So I think that's where the whole like nonners thing came in,
Right.
right? Because
We're in the
worked.
office.
Yeah.
We're-
Yep.
Oh,
we
man.
worked, man.
Dang.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, man, it was good. Like I loved Hill, man. It's home now. Like honestly, I look at that place as like home now because I've been there longer than I lived in California. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the way we are now with Georgia.
Uh huh.
And we're realizing that, wow, been in our home longer than we've been in any other
Isn't that
home.
crazy? Yeah, I think about it now, man. Like, I honestly, I think about that all the time now, because, man, I swear, like 2002 when I first got orders to, I remember driving up. I took leave in route, and
Mm-hmm.
driving up from California up to Hill. I was just like, it was like mountains, and it's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful, and I was like, dang, man, I got pretty lucky, right, to go from
Right.
England to Hill. And I remember when I left, my supervisor, one of the last things he told me was like, hey, Hill's actually a hidden gem,
Ah.
so and he was 100%
Dang.
correct on that. Yeah.
So I
Yep.
haven't been yet, but
Yeah.
I
Yep.
want to. I want
That's
to
right.
check
You
it
didn't get to
out.
go out. Yeah.
Mm-mm,
Yep.
not
You didn't
yet.
get to go out to it. Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful. I love it.
So for your deployments,
Yeah.
where are some of the places you went?
So my first deployment was in December of 2001. So back then,
Right after
they
9/11.
right after 9/11.
Okay,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah. No. Sorry. Right. Yeah. It was right after. Was it? Yeah. It was right after. Yeah. We went to. No, it was before 9/11. So gosh.
Was
So
it right
was
before?
It was right before, so it was probably it was the year before that. Then,
Okay.
we went to Southern Watch, to Al Jaber Air Base, Kuwait, right? So,
Okay.
Man, I remember still to this day. I was still 19 at the time, 19 or 20 or so. Going down there, and like, after the first, Gulf War, they had like Northern Watch and Southern Watch. So we went to Al Jaber Air Base, Kuwait, and really young at the time, and I'm talking like Bear Base. It was kind of like the first like eye opener to me of like what really happened, in the Middle
Right.
East, and it was literally like. I don't know. Had you ever been to Al Jaber before?
No, I haven't.
It's literally it's like it's a compound. It's a
Right.
compound. There's a runway there. We lived in huts, and yeah, it was kind of like there's all the signs of like do not walk here because of UXOs, and I got like my flak vest, my helmet, and all that, and not to say that I wasn't infantry or anything like that, right? But as a mechanic, right, as a maintenance guy, you're like,
Right.
man, why am I wearing this, right?
Yeah, that had to be eye-opening.
yeah,
When you
it was
say
really
Kind
eye-opening.
of bare base. It probably had. You
Yes.
saw the sea wire, and that was
Yeah,
kind
that's
of it.
That's it, man. Yep, that's it. So yeah, we deployed there for 3 months. Busy. We worked 12 hours every day at the minimum, 6-7 days a week. We
Yeah.
just there was nothing else to do, right? We were really busy. We actually made the news a few times because of how busy we were. So yeah, man, it was definitely like to see the whole thing of like all the work and the training that we did prior, and actually like see it in action.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
You deployed with your team as a unit?
Yes,
Or-
yeah, as my squadron. Yeah,
Okay.
yep. As the 494th, we went there and got to do our actual job. So
That's great.
yeah, man, it was great, dude. We loaded some really, really cool, unique ordinances. Yeah, spent 3 months there, and I don't know how I got stuck on swings there too. So,
Yeah.
But it was good though because I learned so much being there. So yeah, did 3 months at that one, and then as soon as I got to Hill, I ended up going to Operation Northern Watch, kind of slash Enduring Freedom, because we were supporting both. And I went to Interlick, Turkey, for that one, and that was awesome too. That was more like, man, compared to like Al Jaber in Kuwait, Southern Watch, compared to Turkey, man, it was night and day.
Really? A little bit
my
more
God. Oh,
business
way more.
hours?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Business hours. You could wear civilian clothes. You could
Okay.
go off base. So I mean, technically it was a deployment, but I mean,
Right.
yeah, like it really wasn't, man. You can still drink alcohol there,
Okay.
and it was gone, right? But completely different. And I spent, so that one I did 3 months. It was crazy. I literally I got to Hill in February. I think I got, did the whole in processing and all that good stuff. Got certified in April, and then in May I deployed. So it
That
was
has to
quick.
be good to tie your purpose right in
Yes, right in
to your
Yep.
job. And
Yeah. So it made the transition, and I was the new guy. So I was, I think, no, I wasn't. I was a senior airman at the time still, and yeah, just being the new guy there, kind of didn't really know a lot of people, but man, our community was, there. It's weird, man. Weapons is just it's a great community,
Is
right?
it?
So they brought me in, and yeah, it was a great time, man. It was a good deployment. And then I also went to um, OIF in December of '05 to May of '06.
Okay.
Yep. So I went to Balad Air Base for that one.
Let me do some calculations.
Yep.
December of '05.
Yeah. Yep.
May of '06.
May of '06. So just
Okay.
under, what was that?
I was somewhere
February,
else.
March, April.
I was
May.
somewhere else then. I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I wasn't until at Balad until later.
Oh,
I thought we were
gotcha.
there at the
Oh,
same
okay.
time.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, that was my third deployment. That one was, I would say, of all the deployments, definitely the most eye-opening. Of how much like the bad guy doesn't like you, I guess you can say, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't a secret. Balad was the nickname was Mortaritaville, right?
That's
So
right.
you know
Yeah.
about it, man. Yep,
Yeah.
you know all about it, man. So kind of every day, you get these things thrown at you that weren't nice, right? So
Do they have the C Rams there?
did, dude. So I went. So on my deployment, I went. We call it Advon. You remember that, right? So like
Yes.
the first one to go, you go there before the squadron gets there,
Right,
before the
scout it
jets.
out.
Yeah, yep. So I was on the Advon team. It was me and my crew. I was already staff sergeant at the time, and so my crew, luck of the draw, we get picked to go, right? So there was probably, I think, a total of like 18 of us that go there. So we leave Hill on a C5, right? And I'll never forget it. Like I was sick, had the worst head
Oh,
cold ever,
man.
right?
Oh, a head
Oh
cold?
my gosh, it was terrible, man. Worst head cold ever. I remember like flying to Rota. We were supposed to air refuel over the Atlantic, but something ended up breaking, so we stopped in
Okay.
Gander. We made it to Rota, and I just remember landing and like I had the worst like sinus headache. My ears wouldn't pop. Oh, dude, it was so terrible, man. And then we get to Balad right before New Year's. I think I left the day after Christmas. I think it was. Yeah, I want to say it was the day after Christmas, and then because we were all like excited because we still got there in December, so we got the tax free.
Oh, for the month.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know how it goes, man. But yeah, we get there, and I get there before the squadron, and I think that next morning, my first day actual morning there, like we get attacked, mortared, and I was like, what in the? I'm about to join the Air Force, man.
Yeah,
This,
yeah.
this ain't supposed to be happening, right? Anyways, like that night, the CRAM fired, right? Man, I was like, what in the world is that? You see the
Yeah.
tracers, and it's loud, and oh my goodness, man, I was like, what in the world did I get myself into, right? But yeah, man, it was crazy. I kind of felt like the seasoned vet, right? Because I'd been there
Right.
for prior to the actual squadron coming in. I was probably there for like 6 or 7 days already.
Okay.
So I was like, man, shoot, I'm the seasoned vet, man. When everybody came, because it was like the talk of the town, right? Like
Right.
all the mortars, but like, all everybody comes like, oh man, have you guys been mortared yet? What was it like? This, and I was like, oh man, you guys are good, man. But yeah, man, I stayed there till May. I actually came back, I think a week and a half early prior to main body. I think that was kind of the reason why I got to go Advon was because you have to do the full deployment, right? When my wife was pregnant with our daughter.
Oh, great.
Yeah, yep. So the fact that and she was having some issues, with the pregnancy. So the fact that I went Advon, I got my time on station. So they ended up sending me back about a week. Yeah, I'd say about a week and a half
Good.
before main body. So yeah, I made it back I think I came back on a Sunday. Yeah, I came back Sunday, and my daughter was born Thursday. So
Oh
yeah,
wow.
yep, made it back just in time, man.
That's
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
but yeah, man, Balad was, you've been there, man. It was amazing.
Yeah.
The old green bean. Everybody remembers the
Oh
green
yeah.
bean, right?
Yeah.
The mango, dude. I love the mango smoothies. Man, it was just it was life there, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was it. That time in 2005, it was more, technology was a lot more relevant, right? So
Mm-hmm.
cell phones and morale calls and funny story. Like I don't know how she did it. I have no idea how she did it, but somehow my wife was actually able to call the weapon shop there.
Really?
Bro, still to this day, I don't know. Like I don't
Wow.
know how she got these special hookups, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, she called and somehow got a hold of me, and it was the weirdest thing ever, man. Yeah, yep, weirdest thing ever. But yeah, man. So yep, and got back in May of '06, and that's when my daughter was born. So yeah, yep,
Awesome, awesome.
yeah,
So, is that part of the decision making process that as life changed
yeah,
and you
yep,
kind of started having your family and at
dude,
Hill
100%, bro. Yep.
that you saw it was time to
100%,
make the
man. Dude,
transition?
prior to that, man, I was like, I honestly thought I was going to be in the military my whole career, like my
Right.
whole 20 years, right? Because, dude, I was, man, I was like, I was that guy, man. I actually, like, took pride.
Okay.
Dude, I starched my uniform, man. My boots
Yeah,
were
had the
like,
creases
yeah,
and the
man. I just,
mm-hmm.
I took pride in it, man. Even getting hammered on it, working on the flight line, never
Oh,
really
that's
like
true. That is
yeah,
unique.
because a lot of the people that work on the flight line, they're like, I don't care, right? Like
Right,
our
right.
uniforms are gonna get messed up anyways, right? Because most of the time you change out into coveralls or you put Gore-Tex on, depending on the weather or whatnot. But I didn't really let that get to me, man. I was 100% like ironed my uniform every day,
It's
shine
cool.
my boots every single day, and even like my troops too. Like I wasn't, like lack of better terms, like an a-hole about it, right?
Right.
I just told my guys like, hey man, dude, let's take pride in this, right? Let's be the best that we can be, right?
There
And
you
it showed,
go.
man, because we won like load crew of the quarter. We always like I said, I was pretty lucky to always have like really good folks on my crew. So
Mm-hmm.
I made sure to like reciprocate that by making sure that they set the example, like they had the image as well too.
That's cool. So let's see. So you were weapons your whole time in the Air Force
In the active duty,
for
yeah,
active
yep.
duty.
So yeah, it's kind of weird, man, how I got into IT. I always knew that it was like the route to go, so I would
Mm-hmm.
always kind of pick up things here and there, right? Try to help out as much as I could in the shop while I was in, because being on the flight line, you're kind of like that, just that bastard child. We never really had IT support. We just had in-house, right? So in the office, there's always that one computer nerd, right? Always the one computer nerd, right? And they'd fix everything, right? So I always try to like learn as much as I can, and yeah, man, I just picked up as much as I can, and having like my background with like electronics in the Air Force like
Mm-hmm.
helped out as well too, and having a clearance obviously, and yeah, man, it was kind of the stars aligned, man.
Yeah.
Worked out good because I knew honestly the moment that I got back and like after my daughter was born, I was like, yeah, like this is it for me.
Right.
I'm
Right.
gonna ride out my enlistment, and just go from there. I actually in 2004 I cross trained, I guess for a little bit. I went to fire school. I was gonna be a firefighter.
Really? Okay.
But I broke my ankle really bad
Oh.
in tech school, like really bad.
Oh man.
And they ended up sending me back. Had to have two surgeries on it, and
Dang.
I think my time kind of just I got through my window, and they wouldn't let me go back in, which was was cool, man, because I guarantee you, got if I didn't break my ankle, I would have
Right.
stayed. I guarantee I would have stayed in the military, right? So who
Okay.
knows where we would have been.
Yeah.
Hindsight, I always look at it as like, man, this is. It was such a blessing that as much as it sucked breaking my ankle, right,
Mm-hmm.
that I ended up going back to Hill and getting out of the military, and here I am now. So
Yeah.
yeah, dude, it was good, man. It was good.
Dang.
Yeah, yeah. Not a lot of people know about that,
Uh,
man.
So have you kept up with people? Actually, you have. You mentioned that you keep up with some
Yeah.
people that you
Yep.
served with.
Yeah. It's
That-
it's a weird, man. I mean, like I still talk to a lot of my friends like growing up with. Um, but it's just it's really weird, man. I've been so lucky to have the people in my life from the military. Whether they're my mentors or whether like I was their supervisor or whether we were just like coworkers, right? You always you're always going to run into somebody that that you either butt heads with or like it's weird, man. I've been lucky enough to like not have somebody really bad, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I still talk to a lot of them to this day, and it's crazy now because a lot of the guys that I join with are either retired, which
Right.
is crazy to think about, right? Like, man, I still can't believe it, or are getting ready to retire,
Right.
So a lot of them are like, they've hit me up like, hey, how was the transition? It's scary because it is, right?
Oh,
Like,
so and you're able to help out.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So that's like one of my, I was very lucky to have somebody really take me under their wing. He was in the military as well too. He got out and he knew that I was getting out, so he kind of took me under his wing and taught me a lot, especially with IT.
Right.
Knowing that he took the time, like the guy never like once said, this is what you need to pay me or anything like that. He's like, I'm just gonna take care of you, right?
Right.
So I made a promise to myself that I would do 100% the same thing to others. Like, people, especially on the weapons career field, because, we do get a lot of crap for like, oh, what are you going to do, right? Like, how is that going to transition into like the
Oh,
civilian sector,
right,
right?
right.
Yeah.
Maybe working in the airlines.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
At
Yep.
the
So,
airport.
I kind of look at it as is like, one of the guys really helped me out. So I feel like that's a huge thing that I love doing is like helping, the guys that are getting out. Like, hey, I know the situation that I've been there,
Mhm.
right? And it's not like you go from like guarantee no matter what, you're gonna get a paycheck every 2 weeks, right?
Right.
To oh my gosh, like man, this is crazy, right? So yeah, there's always that anxiety of like, okay, how's this gonna work, right?
Right.
And I think a lot of it is like the drive. So for me, when I was getting out of the military, I was like, man, I don't want to go. Like a lot of people will get out and go to the hangars over at Hill and work, and turn wrenches and all
Oh,
that.
okay.
I just didn't
Right.
want to do that anymore, right? I felt
Mhm.
like my time had passed doing that, and yeah, man, it was it was a hard transition, but I look at it now and I'm just like, man, without that, my buddy that helped me out, man, it's crazy. Like I don't even know where I'd be at, man.
Okay,
Honestly,
so he
yeah.
helped guide you into the IT
Into the
field.
IT, yeah,
Okay.
yep, yeah, 100%, man. So, yeah, dude, I was so lucky, and definitely having a clearance helped out a huge thing, right? Because we know how much of a pain it is, right? So,
Mhm.
having that and just getting to know people, and yeah, man, it worked out good. So, still to this day, like I try my hardest to help as many people as I can that are transitioning, just whether it's with a resume, whether it's with certifications, or just
Mhm.
just general BSing with somebody that's nervous, right? Getting ready to get out.
Yeah.
Dude, I love speaking to them just to kind of calm their nerves, man. Because, dude, the anxiety is real when you get out, man. You got a family, you got, a wife and kids that you got to take care of. So, yep.
That's really great. I'm gonna try to take that away from this podcast.
Yeah,
Um, that keep in touch
definitely.
with people from my past.
Yeah, dude, it's huge, man. It's huge, at least for me, right? Like, I look at it now and I think back, like, in the last 20 plus years of my somewhat of a military, and even now as our team now, a lot of us are prior military. Man, there's like that, like, bond, that bro bond that you just
Mhm.
can't, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's just, you always look out for them, right? You're
Mhm.
always going to have a thing for somebody that was in the military, that you just kind of have this thing that you look out for them, right? So, and like I said, for me, dude, that's all, like, my sole, like, mission in life was just to help anybody out as much as I can, right?
I had a few more questions I was thinking about ending with. I wanted to know, is there anyone that you served with that you would like to touch base with again that you haven't?
Um, man, I would say, uh, it's kind of crazy. When I went to tech school, like I said, I didn't. I just had a really sour taste in my mouth in tech school.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, man. I just didn't I didn't like Shepherd, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was like literally my first time being away by myself, right? Because my buddy had left, and my tech school instructor there, my first one in the basic course, at the time he was Staff Sergeant Bomar. Um, just a great dude, man. Like,
Staff Sergeant Bomar.
yep, great dude. I felt like he was like one of those, because man, you go to tech school, and it's like I was at the time, I always kind of felt like some tech school instructors were wannabe TIs, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
they had that, like they were just like almost like they couldn't cut it out being a TI, right? So they're like, man, I want to be like this hard ass tech school instructor, right? Like, bro, get out of here, man. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and I was lucky because both of mine were not like that. But yeah, Sergeant Bomar, man, he was just amazing, man. Just
Yeah.
a good family man. I was really young at the time, and I just kind of built like this bond with him. And come to find out, when I ended up going to Hill, I had been there for a couple years. He ended up PCSing there. So he got out of instructing and went to Hill. So I got to see him for a couple years, and he's a chief now. He's still in, actually. I think to this day, I want to say he's a chief. The last time I saw, he was like a chief for ACC headquarters or something. So
Really.
yeah, man, just a great dude, man. Awesome guy. It's so hard, man. I've had so many good supervisors. I always say that, man. I was so blessed for my Air Force career, because I had like, not that the stars always align for me, right? But like, I just felt like I always had the great supervisors, great opportunities for me to excel, always setting up for success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it was good. It was great.
That's awesome. This has been a great trip down memory lane.
Dude, I'm telling
And
you, I love it, man. Yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy, man. I love, just being able to talk to you about, like, because, man, I feel like, life is so, like, it's so quick, right? Like,
right,
I think
right.
about it now, like, it just seemed like yesterday when I joined the Air Force,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm like, man, that was almost 21 years ago, right? And it does not seem like 21 years, right?
Yeah.
So it's good to, like, really reminisce and see about, like, I guess you can, call the roots of where, your career and your life started. Yeah.
Is there anyone that you would like to dedicate this podcast to, this episode?
Man. So this episode, you know, uh, probably I would say my wife. Man, she's between like deployment, and having to like raise two kids while
Mm-hmm.
while being gone. And never, dude, my wife has never complained ever, about like my career choices,
Mm-hmm.
and the things that like I put my family through, like when it comes to my career, right?
Right,
It's a
right.
sacrifice. You and I both know about that,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, we're away from them right now, right? So, like, y- having her as like like the foundation back home, like,
Right.
it's crazy. It makes it easier for us to go on, like, even when we first got married, right? We like just got married, and we decided to have a baby. We didn't wait, and next thing you know, like,
Right away.
sorry,
Deployment.
sweetheart,
Oh.
like, see you later, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, and not once has she ever like complained, man, ever. Yeah, I honestly like owe it all to her, man.
Totally agree, man.
Yep.
Military spouse is
Oh, dude, that's the hardest job in the
toughest
world,
job.
man.
Yes.
Toughest job in the
Yeah,
world,
yeah.
bro. We got it made, man.
Yeah. Yep. Man, Dennis, this has been awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yep.
Thank you for coming on. The very first episode. of
Dude,
Behind the Rack.
dude, like I said, it's crazy, man. We've been talking about this for quite some time now, man.
Yep.
And I'm glad, honestly. Like, I want everybody else to see like the heart behind your mission for this.
Mm-hmm.
I did want to say one cool thing though.
Go
So
ahead.
if there's one cool thing, right, in my time as being in the military, so when I was in England,
Yeah.
Again, right? Everything cool happened in England, right? I won load crew. I think it was load crew of the year actually with
the year.
yeah
Annual. Okay.
the base, right? So
Wow.
I was working. I still remember to this day, man. I was working at the end. We called it EOR, right? It was the end of runway. So
Okay.
you would go out there for like a week at a time, and we'd love it, right? Because like you're off the flight line, all you do is arm and de-arm jets, make sure that they're good to go right before they
Gotcha.
take off, right? So I'm sitting down there, and it's funny because we were watching Chris Farley. I can't remember what it was, like a Saturday Night Live, but like old school VHS, right? The phone rings, like, oh, I need to speak to A1C Wade. Like, okay, like this can't be good. So I get on there and they're like, hey, you need to go to life support tomorrow morning. You're getting an incentive ride. Like, what? Like, you're kidding me. So I didn't. I was like, there's no way. Like something's gonna happen, right? Because like I said, working on jets for 2 years and just growing up seeing them, I was like, dude, this is going to be the coolest thing ever, right? So the next morning, I get fitted for my my flight suit, my G suit, my helmet, all that good stuff, right? Wow. And this was like a Wednesday morning, and my flight was Friday. So dude, I couldn't sleep, man. I was so excited, dude. Like nervous, excited, all the above, right? Yeah, man. So that Friday comes up, and we did a four ship. It was me and 3 other dudes that got to go on the flight. Dude, probably the coolest thing I ever did in my life, man. Yeah, dude, flew. Not a lot of people can say, but dude, I actually flew the F-15E Strike Eagle.
Flew it.
Dude, I flew it for like a good solid 15, 20 minutes. Like the pilot was like, I knew him, great guy, dude. Yeah, so I knew him. It was his first deployment as well too, and once he saw it was me that got a ride, he's like, "Bro, I'm taking you." So I told him, I was like, "Dude," I said, "this is probably once in a lifetime for me." I said, "Let me have it, man. Like, give me the best ride, like, cause right? Like, when are you gonna get this opportunity again, right?"
Dude, did you get sick?
Oh my goodness, did I get sick, bro? It was worse than drinking 24-pack of PBR, man. Dude, so we we did the max climb takeoff, which was just the coolest thing ever, right? And started flying, and next thing you know, like you're supposed to look off at the horizon to kind of get your equilibrium normal, right? He didn't tell me that because he wanted to get me sick, right? Man, next thing you know, I was like, dude, I don't know how I'm feeling right now, man. Yeah, like just not feeling it, man. And so I kick it up to 100% oxygen, and next thing you know, like I start throwing up.
Where do you throw up?
So you get a bag. So they give you like 2 bags, right? Bro, it wasn't enough for me, man. Dude, I had it all over my flight suit. So the funny thing is, like, there's a button that you could accidentally step on that like has like radio comms or whatever, and the air, I guess apparently the air traffic control like heard me throw up. Dude, we were like doing like simulating dog fighting against our wingman, and like he's like pull right, you see it right there at 6 o'clock. I'm like, yeah, like. Dude, it was the greatest thing ever, man. And it was cool, man, because like like you don't always get that opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So all my buddies were down at EOR when I landed. We get down to the EOR, and I like showing my trophy of like 2 bags of barf, like. Dude, I had on my flight suit, like, oh yeah, dude, it was the coolest hour and a half I've ever had in my life, bro. Wow. Yeah, man, by far, dude. Yep, it was amazing, dude. Yeah, yep. Wow. Coolest story I've ever had done in the military. Yeah. Still to this day, even as a civilian, like, yeah, dude. Yeah, man, amazing. Yep. Loved it.
Awesome. That's a great way to put a cap on the first episode.
Yes.
Thanks again, Dennis.
Dude,
and,
I can't thank you enough, man.
Hey, from one veteran to another, thanks for serving.
Yeah, dude.
And thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yep, love it, man.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. I want to leave you with the Behind the Rack Veterans Pledge. If you know someone in your life that needs to hear it, please pass it on. I believe, as a veteran, I am part of an exclusive community, and the best exclusive communities are the ones you had to do something to be a part of, not pay to get in. I believe, as a veteran, my military experience brings value to the civilian world. I realize that parts of my service that may seem ordinary to me seem extraordinary to others. And I believe, as a veteran, I am on a hero's journey, and the things I've learned during service can bring value, purpose, and meaning to my life after service.